it's Super DC Gaming once again, and we have finally reached 500 subscribers on YouTube. It's been a while, but we finally got here, and I'm so happy about that. So, to celebrate 500 subscribers, we're going to make this video today, which is, what if Batman was in the Life of Luxury universe? So based on this video, we're going to explain, first I'm going to give a preface of what Life of Luxury is, and what Batman would do if he was to encounter these creatures or that universe. So I just want to preface this by saying thank you all for 500 subscribers. You all are the best. And let's go the road. We're now on the road to 1,000. So now that we've cleared this road, we're now on the road to 1,000. So now let's get on to the video. So we're first going to preface this by saying what Life of Luxury actually is. So basically, Life of Luxury is a YouTube web horror series where two characters, Parker and Chester, go to people's different homes because of strange things happening, whether that's supernatural or just general problems. And since this is a horror series, most of the antagonists are monsters, and there's three types of monsters that Life of Luxury features. There is humans who have died and have come back through some resurrection, monsters who were made or bred through unknown means, and hybrids. And I know you know what hybrid means, but for the lorists in this series, a hybrid is like a cross species, like half species, like half human, half whatever it is. And in this video, we're going to be going over some of these creatures. So we'll start off with what is probably the most popular Life of Luxury monster, and how Batman would go up against them. Tommy. So, who is Tommy? Tommy is the main antagonist in the videos Her Son Can't Stop Going at Night and its sequel, and he is the son of a woman named Candace. 1 year prior to Her Son Can't Stop Going at Night, he had apparently died through unknown causes. However, one night he had come back in through the window from in the forest or something. Candace claimed that he was in the forest and he came back, but whatever came back in from the window was not Tommy if he had died a year prior. So meaning that whatever this thing is not Tommy, it's some type of creature. Tommy, personality wise, initially Tommy seems kind of harmless, even though his presence is he feels very threatening, and the way he looks doesn't help that much either. But otherwise, he doesn't pose a threat yet. However, as the video progresses, he gets more and more hostile. For instance, when Candace is asleep, he would break into your room and don't know how to describe it. He would suck her spinal fluids out, if you would. Whenever a mosquito or a leech, when they clean themselves, they suck out your blood or whatever it is they do. That's what Tommy does to his mom. He sucks out her insides while she's asleep, and in doing this, she is left in a worse state. So with this acknowledgement about Tommy, how would Batman go up against him? Well, how I would imagine is, if Tommy was to show up in Gotham, what I imagine is that Jim Gordon would report to Batman that there have been reports of break-ins at people's homes, break-ins and strange sightings of Tommy, or they wouldn't know it's Tommy, they would call some type of creature, and that people have been left in paralyzed or terrible states because of what Tommy does to them. So as Batman is investigating, when he comes into contact with Tommy, he wouldn't when Tommy is not in his hostile state, Batman would be calm but not on guard because, you know, he is dealing with something supernatural that is beyond his comprehension, because even though it looks human, it's not, and Batman would be very aware of that. So it, and Tommy, like, and another thing we need to talk about, because Tommy is not a human, or at least isn't anymore. A quick thing about Batman's no-kill rule. Because these creatures aren't human, Batman's no-kill rule actually only applies to, you know, humans. So because these aren't, you know, humanoid entities, I think we'll have the no-kill rule be avoided here, because, you know, he's not killing humans, he's killing these creatures. So what I would imagine is, what would Batman do to Tommy, you know, to stop him? Well, even though there's no ways to say how Tommy can be killed, how I would imagine Batman would deal with him is that he would stake him, if you will. Like, maybe there's some type of way to stake Tommy. Like you know how, like, with a vampire, there's, like, sunlight that, okay, not, I know that's not in Dracula, but, like, Nosferatu, for instance, sunlight kills vampires, or garlic, like, that kind of thing. I imagine that there is some type of thing that weakens Tommy, and if Batman found out what this weakness was, he would either use that weakness against Tommy, or would outright kill him if he, depending on how big of a threat he is during his time in Gotham. I believe that is how Batman would handle Tommy. Let's move on to the next one. The next one we'll talk about is Eugene. Eugene appears in the video It Was Hiding in the Closet. Eugene was once a loving father. However, he struggled with deep insecurities about his looks. So, he joined a dark web club known as the Men's Enhancement Club to alter or change his appearance. However, in doing so, it must have neurologically messed him up and stripped most of his humanity down, because whenever he was, like, came back to his wife, Catherine, he was completely different. You know, he acted more hostile, he acted completely different than who he was prior to, you know, the video. The stuff he does in It Was Hiding in the Closet appears that something was very wrong with him. For instance, whenever Parker and Chester arrived at Catherine's house, their daughter is missing, and whenever asked where she went, Eugene responds, she went on a trip. Now Catherine too does disappear. What this means, I don't really know what it means. It could be multiple different ways. He could have either killed his wife and daughter, he could have put them somewhere so he can enhance them himself. Well, it's up to us to debate what he does. But ultimately, this is definitely some type of body mortification. Now, Batman is no stranger to this, because surely one of his villains, Professor Pig, are obsessed with that thing as well. Because Professor Pig too is someone who likes to grotesquely modify people's bodies by kidnapping them through whatnot. However, in Eugene's, while Pig is more like a grounded, because Pig is like a more grounded type of modifications, because he's just a surgeon. Eugene, on the other hand, does it through more supernatural causes, but still they're both the same. So in that theory, when Batman comes into this play, Batman would, at first, I believe what he would do is he would maybe approach Eugene gently, because he doesn't know that he's a danger yet. He would approach him gently, albeit again with some caution, and he would, like, maybe ask questions about, like, where his daughter is, where his wife is, and if Eugene responds with they went on a trip thing, like he would have, that would grow Batman's suspicion. Batman discovers the Men's Enhancement Club. What I believe he would do is he would put a stop to it, because, you know, Batman has, you know, stopped stuff like that before. He's took down crime families, he's took down cults, he's took down, you know, illegal operations. He's done that before. So Batman would take down the Men's Enhancement Club. And even though Eugene, you could say Eugene was a victim, Batman would still need to, you know, have him arrested, because he's, you know, abusing people and doing illegal, you know, surgeons on them. Or, and if worst comes to worst, like, because of the rule that Batman only kills humans, because Eugene is no longer human, Batman would have to kill Eugene if he becomes too hostile or dangerous. Let's move on to the next one. So the next entities we'll talk about is, well, it's a pair, Petey and Friendo. Petey and Friendo appear in the episode Do Not Fall Asleep at Petey's Playhouse, where a girl named Rebecca, her young sister Kaylee, went missing after receiving a tape in the mail for a place called Petey's Playhouse. And Petey and Friendo are revealed to be kidnappers, where they, they have Petey's Playhouse be portrayed as this type of happy place. A kind of akin to Five Nights at Freddy's, but kind of not. And in Petey's Playhouse, there's different kinds of lore. Like, there's several. If you've seen in the Petey's Playhouse commercials, there is Conductor, a man known as Conductor Charlie. However, later on in the video, there's like on like a wall, there's like different conductor names, meaning that they've kidnapped several people. And it's also been said that several other people who have gone to Petey's Playhouse have disappeared, meaning that, Petey and Friendo are full-time kidnappers. And they both initially appear harmless. Well, Petey initially was, most life of luxury entities, when they first appear, seem harmless at best. So, when Batman comes into play, Batman is also no stranger to, like, kidnapping stories or stuff like that. And in the case of, like, kidnapping children, look no further than the Mad Hatter. Because, that's what, like, the Mad Hatter does. He, would kidnap kids. So Batman's role in this would be the GCPD would, inform him that several people have gone missing after receiving the same tapes for Petey's Playhouse in the mail. So Batman curiously would drive to Petey's Playhouse and, he would inspect the place, and if he was met with, and they came face to face with Petey, Batman would have keep his guard up, because Petey would, even though Petey appears harmless, Batman would know that there's more things at stake, more things at play here than is what's being let on. And in the Petey's Playhouse episode, whenever it's revealed that under a bed in one of the bedrooms there's people trapped under there, when Batman discovers this, he would realize what would be going on. And if Petey or Friendo tried to make him their conductor, Batman would perform a counterattack or knock them out like he normally would in a situation like that. And he would have Petey and Friendo arrested, for kidnapping, obviously, for other potential things like trafficking, etc., like that, and have Petey's Playhouse shut down. So I believe Batman would have Petey and Friendo arrested and have Petey's Playhouse shut down. So for the next creature, this is the Forest Monster. The Forest Monster appears in the episode It Waits Until You Fall Asleep. It is this large, tall, black, lanky figure, like humanoid type figure that lurks in the woods at night. Initially, Parker and Chester are catfished by this guy named Chad, because Chad has actually been stalked by a woman. However, later in the video, it's revealed that this woman was only trying to get in the house to get away from the creature in the woods. This creature resembles, I think, African folklore type creatures with the way it's designed. And as the title suggests, it waits until its prey or victims are asleep, so that way it can strike, as in the video, because when Parker and Chester fall asleep, that's when, like, even when the girl comes in through the window, the creature, initially it reaches hand through the window and then snatches the girl away, and then after it has its arm under the quilt on Chester's leg, and whenever it realizes Chester is awake, it snatches Chester away. Then both Parker and Chester are safe. Now, Batman's rule would be is that if Batman discovers that there's a monster killing or eating people while they are asleep, Batman's strategy would be to fake sleep, like maybe in a way he can fool or deceive the creature into thinking he's asleep. So what Batman would do is he would, lay in a bed and make the creature think he's asleep, and whenever, like, at the right moment, like at the direct moment when the creature's about to attack, Batman gets up and starts, doing his counterattack. And this is the one where Batman will do a direct kill, because, this one's dangerous. So how I imagine Batman would kill him, he would either use a gun or any type of weaponry to, like, injure or, stab the creature, making it weaker to attack. And so, to finish the fight, Batman would, maybe rip its neck off, to ensure that the creature is not alive. Assuming it doesn't have regeneration abilities, but we're not going by that. So what would happen is Batman would bait the creature and then kill it to ensure everyone is safe. So, yeah, that's how I imagine Batman would be the forest monster. So, right, let's move on to the last one. So, for the last one, we saved what I personally consider to be the scariest life luxury monster, and that is RatBoy, or as I like to call it, the Rat Monster. So, the RatBoy is as its name suggests, a rodent-like type creature. It has the body and face of a rat, but it also has human hands and legs. However, at some point in the video, it's featured, which is called It Crawls Into a Room at Night. As the creature mutates, it changes its face to like a more humanoid, albeit disturbing face. In the video, the RatBoy is first captured on a video by a boy named Mikey, and Mikey is presumably kidnapped by the creature, as told by his friend. So, and the reason I say that RatBoy is the scariest life of luxury monster is because later in the video, when Parker just go to the house he resides in, there is a room known as Happy Land, and in this room there is revealed to be a bunch of people trapped in cages. One is a guy who looks like he's in his late 20s, early 30s, I don't know. He claims that he's been trapped there since he was 10 years old, which is pretty disturbing. And the most disturbing bit is there is also a pregnant lady in a cage. However, the pregnant lady exclaims that she doesn't want to have his baby, the creature's baby, which, what that means, what the creature did to the lady, what that means. So, yeah, you can just agree that this creature is just absolutely disgusting and horrifying. Like, that's what makes RatBoy the scariest life of luxury monster, in my opinion. Initially, the monster appears normal. Well, it appears harmless. It just appears like a normal rat. It just, goes on like its large wheel thing, eating cheese, drinking its water. However, throughout the night, it becomes more hostile as it starts to convulse or whatever thing is that it does. It starts to become more hostile, and it and near the end of the video, it traps Chester in a cage, and as Parker tries to get him out, the creature chases them both down. So, Batman's role in this. If RatBoy began kidnapping people in Gotham, Batman would go to his house, and while Batman might not think much of RatBoy if he first sees him, when he sees the people in Happy Land and the pregnant lady, especially, Batman would have a disgusted or horrified realization of what this creature does. So if the creature became hostile and tried to, trap Batman, Batman would kill the creature because it's not a human. So with that, Batman would kill RatBoy and then free the people that have been trapped there, and maybe get them into like extreme extended therapy, because if you're being trapped there for years, you would need like very heavy, like extensive therapy. And Batman would take the creature's body for like examination, maybe to decipher what this thing is and where it came from. There is some like lore behind the creature, but I won't spoil that. You'll have to watch the Life of Luxury video. But yeah, so basically Batman would kill RatBoy, take it for like investigation, see what it is and how it was born, and free the people that RatBoy is kidnapped. So with that marks the end of the video. Yeah. Again, thank you all for 500 subscribers. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video that I made. I will be doing more videos like this. I plan to do videos on the Backrooms and Dr. Nowhere. I want to make videos about those two, but I figured why not start with my favorite, Life of Luxury. So yeah, that was this video. Again, like, comment, subscribe, so we can get to 10,000, to 1,000. So yeah, that's it guys. See ya.